Hello again. Sadly, as we all know, apart from 5 shows in Canada in 1957, Elvis never performed outside of the USA. It's generally been accepted that his manager's immigration status in the US was the stumbling block. I don't accept this. Parker was a rich man, a very influential man in his circle. He was Elvis Presley's manager. Had they needed to sort this out, it would have been sorted. Now, of course, throughout his career, Elvis commented several times his interest in performing abroad.
I've never been to Britain either. You know, I'd like it to. Yes, sir. I'd like.
But did he ever express an interest in coming to sing for his fans in the UK?
Yeah, he wanted to. And he was asking me what I thought it would be like for him to come here. And I said, you're Elvis Presley, for God's sake. I mean, they'd love you to come to Britain.
And do a European tour. He just didn't think it was fair, okay, we're going to put you in Vegas, and then everybody can come see you there. No, I want to go see them. I want to go to England. I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Japan, France, you name it. He wanted to go and be in front of his fans. That's what he lived for, being in front of his fans.
I knew that he said he was planning on going to Europe. So that was going to be a definite thing because he always wanted to do that.
So he can't escape some of the blame for not actually doing this. He could have made it happen. But it was easier to do nothing about it. We can all be guilty of this at times. I myself would love to visit Rome. I've been fascinated by Roman history since I was a young boy. Although I've expressed the wish many times to visit Rome, I still haven't. I have no excuse, I just haven't made it happen. But there were a few attempts to lure Elvis abroad, but they all seemed to stumble at the Parker roadblock. In 1969, a British charity organiser attempted to get Elvis over to perform a benefit show. He has stated that Elvis expressed interest in doing it, and he was due to fly to America to meet with Parker to look at arranging this. Unfortunately, he fell ill and never made the trip, and the whole idea seemed to just fade away. In 1976, Mike Roger, a negotiator for Sunrise Concert Agency in Hamburg, flew to Lake Tahoe, where Elvis was performing. He met with Parker and handed him an offer of 5 million Deutschmarks for a single concert in West Germany. The largest concert hall was in West Berlin, the Deutschlandhalle. Parker rejected the offer. In his book, Mike Rogers said that Parker explained that Elvis would be doing a short tour of Canada in autumn 1977. Of course, nothing ever came of that plan. Elvis at the Deutschlandhalle would have been an interesting period in the concert hall's history. And of course, on the 16th of August 1977, all dreams of seeing Elvis perform outside of America became just that, an eternal dream of what might have been. Elvis's career has a noticeable cycle to it. He would have great success, get locked in to trying to repeat that success, usually by a deal struck by Parker. He would then become bored with the repetition and lose interest. But then something would spark his interest again, and he would rise to the challenge and exceed all expectations. This new challenge usually involved working with new creative people who want to take Elvis in a new direction. Parker would quickly move to cut these people off from his property. It should have been clear to everyone, after the success of Aloha from Hawaii, that the next step should be a world tour. The special proved that there was a massive, largely untapped market all over the world that wanted to see Elvis Presley live. But instead he was booked to continue in Vegas and to follow a ridiculous schedule of short tours around America. This confirms to me a point that I've long believed. Parker was not the managerial genius that some people think he was. He was a small-time carny manager that landed the biggest fish in the entertainment history. Short multi-show tours in small towns was a relic of the 1950s travelling shows mentality. While great but lesser artists were filling large venues, Elvis was playing to a few thousand people in halls, sometimes doing 2 shows a day. All that was missing was Parker in a ringmaster's outfit stood outside the hall, shouting, roll up, come and see my monkey dance." His trestle tables in front spread with cheap trinkets. The problem was that Elvis also grew up in this world. It made sense to him, it felt safe, and they made money. If Elvis continued touring after 1961, I'm sure the demand would have led to larger venues. Under managers like Brian Epstein, Peter Grant and Tony DeFries, other artists and bands were getting much better recording and tour contracts. What we didn't know in August 1977 was that it appears that Elvis had finally made up his mind to change things. He spoke to several close associates about the changes he was going to make. The discovery of this insurance application is revealing. Elvis's costume designer has also spoken about Elvis telling him that he was going to be performing in London and needed a special costume.
Strangely enough, at the time of Elvis's death, we were discussing his going to Europe. I think in so many ways, he had told the colonel, if you can't go, that's it. If you can't get a passport, what you need, you stay at home. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to get back down where I was. And we're going to talk about Europe.
For me, the most convincing evidence has come from Charles Stone. He worked from 1970 to 1977 as Elvis's tour manager. He was actually employed by Concerts West to handle Elvis Presley tours. And he has confirmed that after the show on the 28th of August 1977 at the Mid-South Coliseum, Memphis, he was booked on a flight to London. His task was to sign the contract to reserve a venue for a week of shows in 1978.
I had plane reservations the day after the tour was going to end. This is a tour that we didn't do. To fly to London, to book Wembley Arena for the first time they had 7 days in a row. So we were coming. The colonel was not coming.
Now this, of course, is not to be confused with Wembley Stadium. The arena holds around 12,000 people. So 1 show a day for a week would be 84,000 tickets sold. Though I'm sure the demand would have led to 2 shows a day on some days. And it would also have triggered, I believe, a European tour, because it would, of course, been a massive success. All we can do is imagine that morning with the TV cameras peering into the grey London skies, everybody looking for the first glimpse of the Lisa Marie coming into land at Heathrow, of the pandemonium that would have followed everywhere Elvis went, and of a week of fantastically successful shows, with all the glittering celebrities and stars, probably from all over Europe, flocking to London to witness the King in concert. What might have been. Till next time, bye for now.
Oh, what's the matter, baby? Thank you. Good night.